What's up, everybody? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, and I am joined today by one of the most feared strikers of heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, one of the most feared strikers in the history of mixed martial arts, our good friend Anthony Rumble Johnson joining us via Zoom. Anthony, how are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's get right to it. A lot of us were excited to see you in 2021. We figured we were going to see you in the UFC. We are not going to see you in the UFC. We're going to see you in Bellator MMA. Let's start with the first part of that. Why are you no longer with the UFC?
Honestly, man, my time just ran out right now. They're focused on the younger generation. You know, um, it was no bad blood, nothing negative, no animosity. You know what I mean? I still have the utmost respect for Zuffa, Dana White, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? UFC it made me who I am today.
Mhm.
So I have nothing but love for them, and I'll go up to any of them, shake their hand. But they gave me an opportunity, man, to start a new journey, and I took it, and now I'm at Bellator, and I'm ready to see what I can do there.
What do you mean they're interested in the younger generation, man? You ain't that old, and you're still. A
What
lot of
you see?
people still consider you one of the better fighters of any of these divisions. So it's not like
Yeah,
you're too old over there.
last time you talked to me, I didn't have all these gray hairs in my beard. Now I have them. Um, but I think it's great that they're focused on the younger guys. They have to build the company up and stuff like that. So I support it. And best of luck to the up and coming guys. They have a long road ahead of them, and it's going to be a fun journey.
When did you realize that your next step was not going to be in the UFC? I think your manager told me that you became a free agent in the middle of last month, so like mid-November.
Yeah.
When did you kind of know about beforehand, or when did you realize that it was not going to be the UFC?
Well, I've known before you guys knew. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? Um, I'm just not the type to run my mouth. You know that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Some people run their mouth and it get them in trouble. I'd rather just keep my mouth closed and see how everything plays out. I don't want Dana talking bad about me for leaving.
Yeah, well, I mean, you haven't talked about poorly. Obviously, you haven't said much. This is the first interview, but Ali, your manager, said that it was a mutual release.
Yeah.
Dana was out there saying that you like them, they like you. It just didn't work out. For the record, did it came from them or it came from you? Like, whose decision was it that you guys were going to move in separate directions?
No, honestly, it was a mutual thing. It was no, oh, I need to go or you need to go. It wasn't. It was nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was just, you know, sometimes you can talk and it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. That's just the nature of the business. Doesn't mean you have to have bad blood. Doesn't mean you have to say anything negative about anybody. You
Mhm.
know, but there was nothing bad to say from the beginning, and nothing bad to say now. Honestly, it was all good through the whole process.
Yep. And you found a new home in Bellator, obviously. But last question about the UFC. On your way out, is there any one fight that you kind of disappointed is off the table now? Like whether it be Blachowicz for the championship, Jon Jones obviously was a fight we talked about for a long time. I asked you about Francis Ngannou earlier this year. You said that was a fight that interested you. Is there any one that you're like, dang, that one's off the table?
John,
John.
John, John was the reason I went up to 205. Besides hating to lose as much weight as I was losing.
Yeah.
Um, Being able to fight the pound for pound number one guy ever at 205, that's an honor to be able to compete against somebody like that. And with the way I was on the roll and with the way, it's John,
Mm-hmm.
the way he fights, it would have been a great matchup, and I knew he was going to be one of my toughest tasks in front of me. But I was doing mentally, I was there whenever it was time to fight John.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I was mentally prepared, but through the whole camp, man, I always felt like something wasn't right. You know what I mean? I always had a weird feeling in my stomach. I was like, man, I have a feeling something crazy is gonna happen. And
You're
so,
talking about 2015 when you were supposed to fight him.
yeah, and something happened. And after that, man, um, not fighting John took a lot of life out of me, believe it or not.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because he was my main focus, my main. He was the guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's an honor to fight DC. So I'm not taking anything from DC. He's amazing. He's dope. one of the best ever. You can't question it. You know what I mean? With Jon around or not, he's one of the best ever.
Yep.
But my main goal was to fight Jon. You know, that's it. You know, I'm not about to go into detail and give you some sad story. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now I don't have to worry about beasts like him. I got other beasts to worry about, you know, with the guys who in Bellator. You know, everybody talks about Bader because, you know, I beat him and stuff, but Bader wasn't a slouch regardless. You know, it happened to be my night. That's just what it is. You know, I don't take anything away from Bader at all. Yeah. Corey Anderson, my main man, Corey Anderson is over in Bellator now doing his thing. I'm super happy for him. The champ, you know, I'm just now starting to pay attention to who is who again. Yeah. Now, especially since I'm over into another organization. Yeah. So I have to, you know, do my homework on the champ because he knocked out Bader in a nice way. Sure. You know what I mean? I was highly impressed by his performance. So I look forward to competing against all of those guys. You know, they signed Yoel. I read that he was coming up to 205, which is great. You know, I think the 205 weight class has a lot of firepower right now. I think we have a lot of noise behind us. For sure. Yeah, it's a great division. And I want to ask about some of those guys a little bit more in depth, but hearing you talk about Jon, I guess, do you have closure now with the whole Jon thing just because you're in another organization and it can't happen? Like, do you feel like that chapter's behind you or is it still? Yeah, it's behind me. It's behind me, but it's still something that'll probably be in the back of my mind forever. You know, I kind of feel like I missed my golden opportunity, but that it is what it is, you know. Life goes on. Now I have another golden opportunity. Yep. So we'll see what happens this go around. All right. So I think, you know, you were kind of targeting like a February, March return in 2021. I'm shooting for more April. Okay. April now in Bellator. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And you did mention Yoel Romero, and he did give an interview to ESPN this week. And he said it's speculation. I don't know anything, but he's like, I'm 90% certain that my first fight's going to be against Rumble Johnson. How do you take that 90%? Dude, like nobody said a word to me. You know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is. You know me, man. I don't pick out fights. I let them come to me. If it makes sense, I'll take it. If it doesn't, what's the point? You know? But once again, I can't call out anybody. Yoel says it's 90%, whatever he said. I don't know where he's getting his information from, because nobody's approached me about it. Maybe that's his way of calling me out nicely. I have no idea. And if he calls me out, he calls me out. You know me, man. I'll always show respect to my opponents, whoever it is. Even if you're not an opponent, I'll show you respect. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll just see we'll just roll the dice and see what happens. What if Bellator came to you and was like, man, everyone's excited to see you. We're excited to have you. You tell us what excites you. Give us the one fight that excites you the most in this organization. What would you ask for? All of them. It's not just one. When I did my interview a while back, when I said I want to bury everybody, you know, I mean everybody. So it's not just one fight. You know, I don't take any of these men for granted. You know what I'm saying? These are true athletes. You know what I'm saying? I've been out of the game for a while. These guys have been on a steady course, just grinding. I've been on a different path. Yeah. Wasn't grinding as hard, but thank God I didn't lose too much athletic ability during my absence. But yeah, man, I can't call out anybody. I honestly like all of the guys that are in the top 5 for sure at Bellator. I'm like, man, I think these dudes are beasts. How do you think you rekindled your? I don't know what it is. Like, did you rekindle your love for the sport or your desire for the sport? But you know, once that's gone, most of the time, historically, like it's tough for it to come back, right? So how did you find it again? DC and Stipe. When I saw them fight, you know, that's when I was fat. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was fat, and I saw DC and Stipe fight for the rematch. And it just made me want to fight even more. I was like, man, I'm looking at these guys and I'm looking at the level, which I know is the highest level you can get, you know. And they just got my blood, you know, boiling. I was like, man, I'm supposed to be in there. I'm supposed to be banging with those guys. And like, I'm supposed to be on TV right now. You know what I'm saying? So those two guys, I give a ton of credit to. You know, those guys fighting and putting it on the line the way they did. Two great athletes just duking it out and, may the best man win. I always have respect for fighters that go out there and do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to give credit to those two.
Is there any part of you sitting now that if you could go back, because you've been gone now for 3 years. And when you talk about like in those 3 years, you might have been able to get a chance to fight Jon Jones, and careers are quick, right? And so you hear it all the time, like take advantage of your opportunities. Do you ever regret taking off 3 years from the sport?
Nah. Sometimes you need to, I didn't have to. Some people need to. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying any names, but we know who needs to retire and we know who should have retired way before their time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not punch drunk. I don't get knocked out. Not saying it's not possible. Mm-hmm. But my body, I'm still healthy. Even whenever I was fighting, a few years back, the first go around, I was healthy then. You didn't really hear about me having injuries or pulling out of fights or anything, So I always listened to my body and took care of myself. I mean, y'all saw me fat, but that was because I was being lazy and letting my body do whatever it wanted to do. And whenever it was time to get in shape, I do that. I gave my body time to recover and my brain. After a fight, you won't see me in the gym for a month. Easy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when I come back, trust me, I'm fat. That's the whole point of taking a break from all of it. You know what I mean? And whenever I retired, I took a break from everything. I didn't want to look at anything MMA related, didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to hear about it, didn't want to nothing. I was just burnt out from it, just so much. I was burnt out, but I'm glad I took the break that I did and I'm back in it now.
When you look at when you watch DC and Stipe, I mean, they're two guys that have been around for a long time. Obviously you fought DC twice. When you look at like the level the sport's at, do you feel like you got some catching up to do, like over the last 3 years that some things have changed, or you feel like you hop right back in there and you're one of the best in the world?
I still feel like I'm one of the best in the world. My confidence is still there about what I can do and what I have to offer. I don't feel like nothing slowed down. I still have to sharpen my tools, Mm-hmm. I'm not no spring chicken, you know what I'm saying? I gotta do what I gotta do to make sure I'm up there, but I don't feel like I'm slacking. When I see the guys in any organization, I'm like, they're good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I see their talent and their skill, but I believe in myself even more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that they're scrubs or anything like that. I just believe in myself and my abilities.
You miss the fans at all, or you feel like you come back in April, if there are no fans, it'll be just as good? Or do you miss that sort of
weird? I think it'll be weird. I compete against Bader this weekend, Submission Underground, and I was reading the itinerary and they were like, no coaches will be in your corner. Nobody will be there except for the staff, whoever's supposed to be there. And I'm like, that's going to be the weirdest thing, like grappling somebody and you hear nothing but slaps and foot movement and people hitting the ground. You know what I mean? That's it, dude. That's going to be weird. But hey, we're athletes. We're supposed to be prepared for whatever. This is what we do, so we got to do it.
Yeah, and just a few more. You are grappling Ryan Bader this weekend, and you did some grappling in 2019 as well. Were you kind of like?
That wasn't grappling.
were you drawn to grappling? Were you working on your grappling, or was that just sort of a?
I saw it as an opportunity just to do something, so I tried it. It wasn't my comfort zone. If I'm gonna be comfortable and be the complete package, I gotta be comfortable where I was once uncomfortable. So, and I've never been scared of going to the ground. Never been scared. It just hasn't been my happy place. I'm a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to stand up and punch somebody in the face, and then take you down and beat you up some more. But I also welcome that too at the same time, so I understand the game, but fans love submission. They love the game, but if there's a submission, unless the person tap, which I will, I'll tap, I don't care. When it's, a submission, unless, like I said, they tap, some stuff can be questioned. You know what I mean? Did he really have it tied? Did the ref make him stay? Did he really tap? It can be a variety of things that people can complain about it. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't feeling good. My arm was something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you knock somebody out, they done.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. What's going to be his excuse? My jaw was loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you just end it, and that's what it is. You go home happy, they go home sad. So
have you actually missed like the feeling of knocking somebody out? Like, is that something that you've missed, or is that something that you're looking forward to?
do I miss it? I think once you kind of used to it, it's just a thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, do I look forward to knocking people out? Yeah, hell yeah. That's what I've been doing from the beginning. So why stop now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll leave you on this. And I know you're not a trash talker. You don't call out your opponents, but let's say Yoel Romero is right.
I knew you were gonna go there. I knew you were going.
Let's say he's the first guy that you fight. What do you think of the guy, and how do you think that fight goes?
Of course, I feel like I'll win. I don't feel like it'll be an easy fight at all. Yoel's tough, man. Like, I know his wrestling credentials. And I know the real story behind, you know, him and some other stuff, you know, when it comes to wrestling. Nothing bad, but like, he's got some great stories, and I know the story a little bit. I wasn't there, so I can't say it's word for word, but I've heard some good stuff, you know. Utmost respect for Yoel. If we fight, we fight. I look forward to it if it happens. Do I think it's gonna happen right off the bat? I really don't think so. I think Bellator will, you know, use us the right way. You know what I mean? But I think if they're going to get their money's worth and get the build up and stuff like that, you know, I don't think just my own honest opinion, I don't think it's about to happen ASAP like that. You know what I'm saying? If you understand the business, sure. You know, I don't see it happening that fast, but hey, man, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying, in this sport. So let's see what happens.
Well, I love it, man. You're giving us a lot to talk about. That division is giving us a lot to talk about, and I know everyone's excited to see you back in 2021. So good talking to you, and we'll see you again after the holiday.
Thanks, brother. Take care, man.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.